Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Welcome everyone. Today we will talk about VMware hands-on labs. आज का जो सेशन है इसमें हम वर्चुअलाइजेशन टेक्नोलॉजी के बारे में डिस्कशन करेंगे। इतना डिटेल में मैं वर्चुअलाइजेशन के बारे में नहीं जाऊंगा क्योंकि आज हमने क्या डिस्कस करना है। हमने हैंड्स ऑन लैब्स डिस्कस करनी है। तो VMware हैंड्स ऑन लैब्स क्या है? इट्स बेसिकली अ प्लेटफॉर्म जहाँ पे आप VMware के प्रोडक्ट्स से रिलेटेड आप एक्टिविटीज कर सकते हैं। फॉर एग्जांपल, आपको वर्चुअलाइजेशन से रिलेटेड कुछ चीज़ों को टेस्ट करना है, या आपने इवन यहाँ पे अगर ऐसे लोग हैं जिन्होंने अभी तक वर्चुअलाइजेशन के बारे में नहीं पढ़ा या इनको आइडिया नहीं है, तो आज का जो सेशन है उन लोगों के लिए भी वेरी बेनिफिशियल रहेगा। क्योंकि आपको, इफ़ यू आर नॉट एबल टू अटेंड माय ट्रेनिंग, क्योंकि मैं इसकी प्रॉपर ऑनलाइन ट्रेनिंग देता हूँ, VMware vSphere इंस्टॉल कॉन्फ़िगर मैनेज, जिसमें हम VMware सर्टिफाइड प्रोफेशनल डेटा सेंटर वर्चुअलाइजेशन की जो सर्टिफिकेशन है उसके लिए हम स्टूडेंट्स को रेडी करते हैं। प्रोफेशनल लेवल सर्टिफिकेशन है। तो इफ़ यू आर नॉट एबल टू अटेंड माय ट्रेनिंग, तो आज के सेशन के बाद मैं आपको गाइड करूंगा कि आप फ्री में किस तरह अपनी वर्चुअलाइजेशन की जर्नी जो है यूजिंग VMware HOL किस तरह आप स्टार्ट कर सकते हैं। इसमें ऐसे स्टूडेंट्स भी मैं देख रहा हूँ जो ऑलरेडी मेरे साथ एनरोल्ड है, मेरी जो ऑफिशियल ट्रेनिंग है उसमें। तो उन स्टूडेंट्स के लिए आज का लेक्चर इस हवाले से इम्पोर्टेंट है कि इसमें हम उनको गाइड करेंगे कि वो अपने ट्रेनिंग से रिलेटेड किस तरह अपने लैब्स पे काम करेगा। क्योंकि मैं जो ट्रेनिंग देता हूँ उसमें हमें तकरीबन 64 GB रैम एक हार्डवेयर की रिक्वायरमेंट होती है, ताकि आप उस कोर्स की पूरी ट्रेनिंग्स जो है वो आप कंप्लीट कर लें। ओके, सॉरी, वी हैव समवन फ्रॉम another country and he requested to switch to English. So today we will be talking about VMware HL, right? So I was talking about that if you have some students and they are new to virtualization, and if this is their first time, so this session will help them to start their virtualization journey. So first of all, I will start from my introduction. My name is Kashif Ali. I'm the speaker today. I am the founder and CEO of TechHua. So this session is also uh, powered by our in collaboration by TechHua. TechHua is basically a tech community, and the main purpose of TechHua is to empower youth. Uh, we connect industry people to academia. We help university students and guide them with their careers, right? We also started focusing on school kids and college students, right? Uh, my job is inside solution architect at Zones. Zones is a US based IT company, and my responsibility there is uh, working on the VMware project specifically. I'm doing my PhD in computer sciences. I completed my BS computer science back in 2014. Then I completed the MS degree, and now I'm uh, working on the PhD, right? I have 13 plus uh, years of IT industry experience. I started my career from a student when I came to Peshawar city back in 2010, and I started my journey from a trainer. I started my journey from Afghanistan. I trained 50 plus students there. And because of my contribution to the community, I received VMware vExpert recognition from the VMware community five times. And recently, last year, uh, I was awarded by the Pride of KP Award, right? So, and I have done the 42 International Plus certifications. The highest level of VMware certification is VMware Master Specialist and Digital Workspace one. I did my VCP back in 2014. That was the first VCP, and I recently last week I also completed my VMware Certified Professional Network Virtualization certification. So today I will be talking about the HOL. So let me move to the HOL portion, right? If you want to connect with me, this is the last slide. So you can scan this code or I will share this link with you guys and you can connect with me. As we mentioned that this is a workshop and I will not be talking about on the slide. So let's talk about VMware HOL. So VMware HOL is a platform, right? Where you can demonstrate different VMware products. It's a free online platform that provides users with access to VMware products in a cloud-based virtual lab environment. So you can use this lab for different purposes. Many industry experts they use VMware HOL for to demonstrate new product. And the same product can be used for students for a learning purpose, right? The first step will be you can simply write VMware HOL in the browser and you can open VMware HOL and then you can see this is the main page. And when you scroll down, you can click Explore Catalog. As mentioned in the title of this workshop, it was named as Virtualization 101. Virtualization 101 means it's the very basic lab. So today we will be covering Virtualization 101 lab. On the left side, you can see you have catalogs. Recently, VMware introduced VMware Cloud Foundation. So if this is the first time you are attending a virtualization session, so for the new students, they can click on the product side and they can scroll down and select vSphere. So vSphere is a product. You can enable this filter and it will only show you the labs which are related to vSphere. You can see the first lab you are showing here is Virtualization 101. This is the lab for beginners. And the same lab can be used for those people who are enrolled in my VMware vSphere course. So once you click the Virtualization 101 lab, right, you can click Enroll and the lab will be started. You can start the lab. It will test your browser and you can simply start the lab like this, right? As you know that I am a whiteboard guy, so I will open a Paint. So today we will be covering the topics related to VMware vSphere. vSphere is a product. VMware is a company name. vSphere is a product, and which includes ESXi hypervisor and vCenter server is the management tool. In our lab, we have hardware one. This is hardware one, which has ESXi installed, hypervisor, right? So for the VMware vSphere training, we need three hypervisor minimum. You can work on two, but we need three hardwares, right? Then those hardware will be connected to a switch. For example, I will write Cisco switch. They are connected here, right? We need vCenter server. vCenter server will help you to manage these hypervisor, these hardware from a single dashboard. So in this lab, we also have a vCenter. So let me write here. Our lab includes 3 multiplied by ESXi hosts, one vCenter server, domain controller, storage appliance for shared storage, and management PC. So whenever I start a new batch of VMware vSphere, I advise my students that we will need three hardwares so that we can install ESXi hypervisor on those hardwares. We also need vCenter server, we also need domain controller, we also need shared storage, and we need management PC. So this interface, the one you are showing here, this is basically the management PC, the one which you are showing here. Let's say if you don't have any idea how to use this lab, on the right side, you can see you have manual. You are in page number 1. You can click this button and it will guide you, right? You can see here. Even if you don't know about virtualization, you can read these notes and you can open the diagram. This is the actual diagram of the lab. So currently we are on this machine. And now from this machine, we will access vCenter server. And then we will see these three ESXi hosts. These are connected to the shared storage, right? So you can also, after this session, when you log into the virtualization 101 lab, on the right side, these are the guidelines. If you are not comfortable reading these notes and working on the lab at the same time, you can download these notes in a PDF form. You can print it, and then from the page, you can see the steps and you can work on the labs. Uh, right now, I have two screens, so it's easy for me to focus to work on the lab easily, right? This lab will end after 90 minutes. So you got only 90 minutes. So at least if you want to play more than 90 minutes on these labs, you can extend the time. So this is also a good option provided by VMware. So when you click extend time, you will get additional time. You know, 3 or 4 years back, uh, I was working on one of the lab using VMware HOL, and I spent almost 7 hours on these labs. I was working on a technology and I didn't have any resources. So then I logged into VMware HL and I found very interesting notes. So see here, what is virtualization? What is the benefits of virtualization, right? You can see all the things. So once you are done with the notes, right? After that, module number 1 will be started. And then the first step is ES6i host client. So in this lab, the first lab is how to manage a single ESXi host. If you want to manage a single host, right, this will be the first lab. So let's say you don't know anything, so you can follow these guideline, click on the Firefox icon. Click here. Then it will give you a direction that you should click on this bookmark. Then you can see here the username is root and the password is uh, VMware 123 shift 1. So you can write root, or if you are not comfortable writing the username, you can drag and drop like this. Then you can drag the password like this. Sorry, I think I need to, okay, VMware actual, VMware 123 at the rate. And you can log into the lab. So this is how you can log into the lab, right? Okay, maybe you have a question in your mind that if you have to install this ESXi host on your laptop for your own, I mean, if you don't want to use VMware HL and you don't know how to install ESXi. So here I will promote my YouTube channel. You can visit my YouTube channel and you can find some videos there. I uploaded some videos how to install ESXi on your home lab. And also there is a lab uh, also mentioned here. So you can also see, follow these instructions and you can learn how to install ESXi. Okay, let's move forward. Now, using the direction, you can click manage, right? Then you can work on this. So this ESXi host is not connected to vCenter server. So now let's move to vCenter server. Let me open another tab here. Here is a region A, and this is the vCenter server, which is already deployed. Everything is ready. Username and passwords are here. You can simply log in. And when you log into the vCenter server, you can see here, this is the vCenter dashboard. You can see one data center, and we have one cluster. Two ESXi hosts are connected, but the third ESXi host are not connected. So what you can do here, you can copy the FQDN of the host and you can right click here, add host, and you can add the third host as well. The username of the host is root and the password is already mentioned here. So you can click next. And finally, the first lab we did is we added the third ESXi host to the cluster. Now we have how many hosts? We have total 3 ESXi hosts connected here. But the newly added host has an icon, which means that this host is currently in maintenance mode. Means you cannot run virtual machine on this host. So you can select the host, you can click maintenance mode, and you can exit maintenance mode. And now this host is live, but this host does not have any data store because you need to go to configure, and from configure tab, there will be storage adapter and you can select the storage adapter and you can rescan it, right? So basically, how I know this, because I have practiced on this, on these labs many times. So, but I'm guiding you people. Let's say if you want to practice, so first you need to prepare your lab. Once you log into the lab, it will have only one vCenter with two ESXi hosts, but this is how you can add the third host, which will be set on the maintenance mode by default. You can exit the maintenance mode, right? And you will see this host is available now. There will be some virtual machines, right? You can remove them from the inventory. I mean, these are not VMs. These are some dummy files. So you can remove them. Now you can see you have three ESXi hosts already connected here. But this lab is already configured, right? The cluster is already created. If you go to the networking options, you can see we have distributed switch already created. So this is advanced options, distributed switch. So uh, let me pause for a while. And if you guys have any question, you can ask me. For those who cannot speak English, they can speak Urdu. उर्दू में बोल सकते हैं, आप पश्तो में भी बोल सकते हैं, and I can take your questions. So I will pass for a while and I will take your questions. जी जनाब, कोई क्वेश्चन है आप लोगों का? चैट में ना बोले, unmute yourself and speak up. I hope you understand what I'm saying. चले जी.
Sir,
Yes, Mr. Khan.
my question might be hard, but it's my first time, and I want to know like what's the purpose and like please can you explain like why are we doing this and what are we doing?
Okay, your voice was not clear, but what I got, you are saying that this is the first time you are in this session. Uh, and maybe this is the first time you are learning virtualization. So for all of you, if you are new to this technology and if you don't know about this technology, start with virtualization 101. Do not play with the labs. On the right side, there are notes available. You can start from page number 1. You can get to know about virtualization, the benefits of virtualization, what is ESXi, what is vCenter server, what are the job roles in the industry, why we use virtualization technology in the industry, what are the types of virtualization, right? We have network virtualization, we have server virtualization. Today's topic or today's session is related to server virtualization. The product we are covering here is vSphere. Maybe inshallah next time our topic will be related to NSX, which is for network virtualization, right? So there are different products of the VMware. So today we will be covering the vSphere product. So we
Sir,
cover. Mhm.
what is the difference between server virtualization and network virtualization generally?
So basically, one is called compute, right? Compute, network, and storage. These are the three important component, right? So in server virtualization, we cover the compute area. Network virtualization means that instead of using, okay, in compute or server virtualization, we talk about virtual machines. Like instead of physical hardware, we force people to use virtual machines, right? In network virtualization, instead of switches and routers, physical switches and physical routers, we talk about virtual switches, we talk about virtual routers. Instead of storage appliances, we talk about virtual SAN, right? So basically, industry is moving towards SDDC, software defined data center. So in traditional architecture, every component is hardware, right? Physical. But in the modern world or the modern architecture, we focus on SDDC. So if you search about SDDC, if you search about virtualization, you will get to know the benefits of this. I hope I answered your question. Okay, now we completed one lab, right? Now we have three ESXi hosts and they are connected to vCenter server, right? So this is our lab now. Now our focus is that these three ESXi hosts are a part of the cluster. This is a ready-made lab, but now we want to remove them from the cluster so that so that we can create another cluster, so that we can learn how to create cluster and all these things. So first of all, uh, what we can do, the first thing is power off all the VMs, right? Like this. Do not power off your virtual machines on the production environment. Maybe this will be the last day of uh, in your organization if you power up VMs in the production environment. But since we are playing with the labs, this is a test lab. So what we can do here, we want to remove all these hosts from this cluster. What is cluster? We will discuss this. So these are the powered off VM now, and you can right click on one host and you can put this host in the maintenance mode, right? So just to repeat, today's session is not a lecture. This is just a workshop so that you guys can know how to prepare VMware HOL according to your need so that you can do all the labs. There are built-in labs available, a guided lab on the right side. You can see the direction and you can follow those. But what if you don't want to follow them and you want to practice on your own? So we are destroying the lab first. So we will destroy the lab and then we will build our own lab. So I put all the ESXi host in maintenance mode. Now all the hosts are in maintenance mode. And I can select one host and I can drag this to the data center like this. Let me move the other host as well, right? And let me move the other host as well. So I think the second lab is completed now. In this second lab, what we covered, we removed all the host from the existing cluster. And you can simply right click on the cluster and you can delete the cluster, right? And then you can make them live again by exiting the maintenance mode like this. Now you can see here, we now have three ESXi hosts. All of them are connected to vCenter server. They are not a part of any cluster. They are just added to the data center. This is the data center which you are showing right now, region A01. Now what's next? We have two types of virtual switches in vSphere. One is called standard switch, and the other is called distributed switch. So distributed switch is advanced level, and standard switch is the basic switch, which is the host level switch. So last week, I think last Sunday, I was delivering a lecture to my students, and we were discussing vSphere standard switch, and then we were talking about distributed switch, and I had to deliver a lecture on how to create distributed switch. But when I logged into this lab already had a distributed switch available, which is this one. And all the ESXi hosts are connected to the distributed switch. So this is already a pre-configured lab. So what I'm doing right now, I'm going to migrate all the ports, port groups, all the virtual machines from distributed switch to standard switch. So our next objective is migrate everything from VDS, vSphere distributed switch to VSS, and delete existing VDS. This is our next task now. So before I complete this task, let me ask you something. If you have any question, you can ask me. Haji, Urdu, Pashto, English, any question? You can speak Urdu, English, Pashto.
सर ये जो आज का जो ये 101 है विजुअलाइजेशन 101 ये कोर्स का कोड है या डिफरेंट चीज़ है
अच्छा, वर्चुअलाइजेशन 101 जो है बेस,
101
बिल्कुल वर्चुअलाइजेशन 101 का मतलब है कि ये जो कोर्स है, मतलब ये जो
जी
लैब है, ये बिगिनर्स के लिए है। मेरा एक अच्छा, मुझे एआई कह रहा है कि आप इंग्लिश में बोले।
ओके
So basically, Virtualization 101 is a lab which is designed for beginners. I have another training that is called Networking 101, right? So Cloud 101. So 101 means beginners, for beginners. But if you want to learn this technology, I would recommend to start VMware vSphere. And as I mentioned in the start of the lecture, if you are not able to join my course, you can start with Virtualization 101 Lab and do not follow what I'm doing right now. You can follow these course contents on the right side, and even from these course content, you can learn many things. But still, the official training includes 10 modules and 28 labs, right? So currently our batch number 38 is already running. So inshallah, maybe next month or maybe in September, we will start another batch. So, but after this session, at least you can play with some of the options of the VMware vSphere, right? Got it.
राइट सर गॉट इट
Thank you. Okay, G. So now, what is our lab now? Our lab is to migrate everything from VDS to VSS, right? So what I'm doing right now, you can log into the lab like this. On the left side, you can click the inventory, and this is the host and cluster view. Click on one of the host, right? And go to configure tab. And after configure tab, you can click virtual switches. Here you can see we got distributed switch and standard switch. And if you expand this, all the configurations, everything are on the distributed switch, right? So what you can do, you can expand standard switch. Currently, standard switch has only one physical adapter. So you can go to physical adapters and you can confirm if there is any free adapter available. So as you can see here, we have adapter 1, 2, 3, 4. These three are already utilized, but this one is free. VMNIC 3 is free available. So what I can do here, I can attach this free adapter to vSwitch 0, which is a standard switch. If you don't know what is standard and what is distributed switch, I do have a lecture uploaded on my YouTube channel. Let me open that channel right now because I got many crowd at this time, so I can. Okay, when you log into my channel, this is my channel, Kashif Buneri IT Trainer, and you can click videos and you can scroll down. There is a lecture which can help you. This one is, this is only 2 hours lecture. In this lecture, you can learn what is vSphere networking, vSphere standard and distributed switch. I explained in details that what is vSphere standard and what is vSphere distributed switch. But in today's session, I'm not going to explain anything because this is just a lab practice. So you can click Manage Physical Adapter and you can see here VMNIC 3 is available. You can move it down to active adapters and you can click OK. Now vSphere standard switch has two physical adapters. And then you can click the three dots and there is option called Migrate VM kernel adapters. And you can migrate the management port, the management VM kernel adapter, give it a name. So this is the management network. Click here. So now you can see here, I moved the VM kernel port group of management from distributed switch to standard switch. Let's do the same for storage adapter. Migrate VM kernel adapter. Select the storage one. Give it a name. Storage network. And click next. And then finish. Now you have storage network. Then you can click Migrate VM kernel adapter vMotion. And then you can move the vMotion network adapter from distributed switch to standard switch. It means that you can remove ESXi1 from the distributed switch now because we have moved everything from the distributed switch. See, do you see anything here? You don't see anything here because we have moved everything here. Okay, let me summarize it. To understand VMware vSphere, uh, as per VMware recommendation, there will be management traffic, right? Storage traffic and vMotion traffic. So if you are working on a project and you need to implement VMware vSphere environment for one of your client or in the production environment, it will have management traffic, storage traffic, and vMotion, right? These are the three important things, especially in networking portion, right? Okay, so now we have moved everything here. Let's repeat the same thing for ESXi2. As you can see here, everything is on the distributed switch, but we do have standard switch available. The first thing will be to attach the additional adapter. It means that now our ESXi host has two uplinks connected like this. If one goes down, the other is available. Okay, now click here, migrate the VMK0, which is the management network. Let's migrate the storage one, right? And let's move the vMotion, right? And let's repeat the same thing for ESXi3, but ESXi3 is not connected to any distributed switch, so that is fine. Now, what we can do here, these are the components of distributed switch. Here I can see VM region. This is the virtual machines port group. And I can see currently two VMs are connected to distributed switch port group. So I can right click here. I can migrate VMs to another network and I can select the port group of standard switch and I can move all the VMs from distributed switch to standard switch. Once everything is moved, you can right click on the distributed switch. You can go to add and manage host. You can remove host. You can select the two hosts which are connected and you can remove them. Once you confirm from here that no host is connected, you can right click and you can delete the distributed switch. So our lab task is completed. We moved everything from distributed switch to standard switch, and then we removed the host from the distributed switch, and then we deleted the distributed switch. And now this is the simple environment now. Okay, one more thing. If I click on the host number 1 here, I can see physical adapters. I have now VMNIC 0 and 1 available. These are free. On ESXi2, 0 and 1 are available because we deleted the distributed switch and those uplinks were connected to distributed switch and now they have been removed. So now we have 4 physical uplinks and 2 of them are already connected to standard switch vSwitch 0. Option number 1. I can attach these 2 uplinks to the existing switch, or I can create another vSwitch which will be vSwitch 1, and then I can move the storage and vMotion to the other switch. Are you getting the idea? Let me explain it here. Currently, let's say this is okay, someone requested for AI companion. That's fine. I will start it. I don't know what this is, but let's start it. So currently, this is the hardware. Let's assume this, right? The hardware has uplink 1, uplink 2, uplink means network adapter, like this. That is connected to a Cisco switch. I like Cisco, which is why I'm mentioning Cisco, but you can mention Juniper, Huawei, or any other network technology. This is the ESXi host, right? And currently we have only one switch, that is vSwitch 0, which has two uplinks connected like this, and we have port group 1, port group 2, port group 3, and port group 4, right? Option number 1, I can attach these two uplinks to the same switch, or maybe I can create another switch here, vSwitch 1. I will attach these two uplinks to this switch, and then I will move these two port groups here. Which option is good? I mean, both are okay. You can do whatever you want. Let's do this task. Let's create another vSwitch, right? Which will be vSwitch 1 and standard switch we are talking about, not distributed switch. And move storage VM kernel port group and vMotion VM kernel port group from vSwitch 0 to vSwitch 1, right? Let's do this. You can go to the VMware HOL. I can see here 1, 2, 3, 4. I want to move the storage and vMotion from vSwitch 1 to another switch, which I don't have right now. So let's say you can select the first host, only one switch. You can click Add Networking. You can click the physical network adapter, new standard switch. The MTU size is 1500, but if you want to configure jumbo frames, you can configure jumbo frames. Attach both uplinks, VMNIC 0 and 1, active adapters. And now you can see you have another standard switch with no port groups and two uplinks are attached. And if you want to migrate, you can click Migrate VM kernel adapter. You can select the storage adapter, give it a name, for example, storage. See here, the storage VM kernel port group is now moved here from, you don't see it here right now. And you can repeat the same thing here, vMotion, and what is vMotion, what is storage? These are all the discussion. I cannot explain 40 hours course content in 1 hour. I'm sorry for that, but I'm trying to explain whatever I can. So now you can see here. Okay, I have a question from Mr. how the multipath will work at new switch for storage. Basically, um, if you click here, maybe you click edit setting and then you go to teaming and failure. You can see there are different options available, route base. So for the storage, multipathing is something else, right? So uh, this is not related to today's topic, guys. But since Mr. Sajid asked questions, so let me explain it. If you go to storage adapters and when you select, give me 1 second, there is Azan, so I will have to pause for a while. Uh, okay. I have a question from Mr. Sajid Shamir. Basically, uh, if you want to configure multipathing, definitely there are some steps required. As you can see here, uh, we can see here we have only, if you click this thing, and when you go to paths, you can see only two paths, means single paths, right? So for the storage, you will have to add another uplinks. Then you will go to this option. Then you will go to configure and connectivity and multipathing. Then you will select the host. Then you will click action. Then you will click edit multipathing. And from there, you can change the settings, round robin, fixed, or something else, right? So definitely there are some configuration required, right? As I mentioned in the start that today I will not explain anything. I am just here to demonstrate how you can play with the lab. Yep, no problem. Okay, let's do another thing. Let's repeat the same thing here. As you can see here, we have only one standard switch with all the port groups. Now I want to create another port, another switch, right? So you can click add networking, you can click physical adapter, right? New switch. I'm only attaching one VMNIC 0, right? And click finish. I, I only have one uplink to this switch. And let me move the migrate the vMotion here. This is the vMotion port group. I move it, right? So now I have only one uplink attached to this one. Let me explain it here. This vSwitch one has only one uplink, but I still have one free uplink available. One adapter is available, but it is not attached to any switch. vSwitch 1 has only one. I want to add another uplink to vSwitch 1. And I demonstrated earlier that you can click Manage Physical Adapter, and you can also do the same thing using CLI. How you can do this? First of all, you need to enable the SSH service. You can select the host, you can go to configure, you can click services, then you can select the SSH. By default, it is running. Actually, it is not, it, it's supposed to be not running, but since it's the HOL, so which is why you are showing that it is running, right? I want to uh, log into this host using SSH. So you guys can guide me. I can open the terminal here on the lab. This is the management PC. What will be the command? Can you guys tell me? of login to this host? I think SSH -I root @ what is the IP or name of the host? Or maybe you can check the IP address of the host. Virtual switches. Go to the standards 10.0.0.52. So I can open 10.0.0.52 and you can click enter. I think I don't need to mention the got it. So finally I logged into the host. You can see here. What is our objective now? Objective is attach another uplink, which is VMNIC1 to existing switch, which is vSwitch1, right? This is the objective. So when you log into this, right, there are the commands. So the CLI commands are, just give me 1 second. ESXCLI network vSwitch standard uplink add uplink dash name is equal to vmnic1 vSwitch dash name is equal to vSwitch1. Make sure this is should be capital, right? This is case sensitive. And when you click enter, right, the command is successfully run. Let me minimize this and let me show you. vSwitch1 has now, this is vSwitch1, has now vmnic0 attached. vmnic1 attached, sorry. Any question? So we just attached this uplink to vSwitch1 using the CLI commands. Now we have 3 ESXi hosts ready, right? Let's say you also want to migrate. Um, okay, let's say you have this extra uplink, you can delete it. VM kernel port group. Now you can see we have vSwitch0 here. So let's repeat the same thing for this host as well. This is basically a best practice that you keep all the configurations same on all the ESXi host on your environment. I have some expert here. They can also add their input. It seems like you guys are enjoying the session because I can see 30 people since last hour. Let's take a little bit break. So now you can see here, we have 3 hosts connected here. As I mentioned this, that in this lab, sorry, this one, this is the lab, right? We have vCenter server, we have 3 hosts. These hosts are connected to a storage array, right? And you can see here this storage array is connected here. And let me show you here. If you select one of the host, and when you go to storage adapter, and when you select this iSCSI storage adapter, and when you click the dynamic discovery, you can see the storage appliance IP is 10.10.20.60. So that is the storage device. It is connected. So the IP of this storage appliance is, this is basically iSCSI. So 10.10.20.60 is the storage appliance IP address. I'm explaining the VMware HL in front of you guys. So, and when you click the devices, I can see how many devices I have. I can see device 1, LUN 1. I can see device 2, but you can see here device 2 is not consumed. It is not connected here. So this is a long story. I have a separate module for that. I cannot explain that module in front of you guys, but let me explain one thing. In storage array, we have two disk, block 1. We have another block, block 2. The one block is already connected to all ESXi host as a data store. I can confirm here. When you go to the data store portion, I can see iSCSI 01 is attached, but the other block is not connected yet. So if you want to add another adapter, another block, you can right click on the host, you can click storage, you can click new data store, you can select VMFS, and then you can give it another name. Let's say iSCSI 02. This is the block. This is the LUN 2. You can click, you can select VMFS 6, and you can click finish. So finally, now you have third data store connected. So see, now you have three data stores available. So as I studied this lab, I researched on this, which is why I know that we can also add another data store as well. Let's do the same thing. You can see it's also available here, and that will be also available here because all the three ESXi hosts are connected to the same storage array, to the same iSCSI server or target. So which is why we have this. But this was the newly added ESXi host. And when you click here, I can only see two data store, but I don't show the NFS. It means that this storage array of the VMware HOL has both iSCSI storage and NFS server also configured on the same storage array. So let me get all the information from the existing host like this. I will click the summary tab. Uh, this is the server. This is the folder. What is the name of this? ds-nfs01. I can copy the path. I can go back to the ES6i3. I can right click, storage, new data store, NFS, NFS3, let's say, ds-nfs01. The folder name is this one. The server IP is 10.0.10.20.60, and you can click next and finish. Now you can see NFS is also available. So I just added the NFS data store to the third ESXi host, right? Let's say if you don't know what is vMotion, what you can do here, I mean, if you want to configure the vMotion up VM kernel port group for your own purpose, so what you can do, you can right click, You can remove the vMotion port, VM kernel port group. I just removed this, right? Let's remove the vMotion from this one as well. But remember 10.10.30 is the subnet, right? So let me remove this, right? And let me also remove this from here. Mr. Sajid, let me answer your question after a while. Now, let's do another lab. How to configure VM kernel port group for vMotion service. How you can do this? So for vMotion, you need to create, you need to have a VM kernel port group, right? Let's say you already have management port group. So what you can do, you can click here, you can click edit settings, and I think you need to click here, edit settings, and you can select vMotion. So the same management port group can be used for vMotion traffic, but this is something not recommended by VMware. The recommended option is to have a separate VM kernel port group for vMotion and make sure a separate switch or a separate VLAN, right? So up to you guys. If you want to use the vSwitch one for vMotion, you can click add networking. You can uh, select the VM kernel network adapter. What is vMotion port group? That is something we will discuss in module 8, right? Unfortunately, I don't have lecture of that. But suppose you want to configure vMotion on a VM kernel port group and you want to use the existing switch, you can select this one and you can give it a name. Give it name like vMotion network. If you want to use a separate VLAN, you can do that, right? If you use the default IP stack, you can enable multiple services, but the recommended option for vMotion VM kernel port group is to use vMotion TCP IP stack. So this is the one, right? vMotion. I just by default it is selected and you can click next, right? When you click next, I think it will ask for IP address. So for example, I want to use 192.168.30.1, let's say 255.255. It's up to you, but make sure all the hosts must be with the same subnet, right? For vMotion traffic. What is vMotion? It it allows your VMs to migrate from one host to another host in a powered on VM, right? You can move powered on VMs. Let's repeat this. Add networking, VM kernel adapter, existing switch, vSwitch 1, give it any name, let's say vMotion network, the vMotion TCP IP stack, the IP will be 192.168.30.2, right? Next and finish. Now I can see another and the same step will be repeat on the third host. So basically, this is very difficult task. Uh, I do have a lecture uploaded on my YouTube channel that is for uh, distributed switch, and using distributed switch, you can easily configure all these things, right? vMotion, right, and click next. and you can 30.3, right? And that's it. Now I can see VM kernel port group on these one. For vMotion, all hosts must have access to the shared storage. Let's say this VM is powered on. Let me power on this VM. This is a Windows 10 VM, right? Which is running on ES6i2. I want to migrate this Windows 10 VM to ES6i3. So there are some configuration required. Usually, I cannot explain all these scenarios right now, but let me just give you a demonstration. Let me log into the host, to the VM first. So I just log into the VM. This is the VM, and let me put the password. The password of the VMs are mentioned in the lab manual. On the right side, you can find the default passwords. So this is one of the Windows 10 machine inside the running on ES6i2, right? Let me show you here. We have one Windows 10 VM running here, for example. This VM is running here. I want to move this VM to the ES6i3, but the VM will be powered on, right? So let's do this. Let's wait for it. Once we log in, I want to show you something. Let's see. Any question, guys? I have a question from Mr. Sajid Shamir. I will answer your question after a while. Okay, this is the Windows 10 dashboard. And let's say, let me open something. Let me ping the host. Am I getting response? I think the network setting is not configured yet, but that's fine. Let's say CMD is opened here, right? And I want to move this VM from one host to another host. So you can simply right click. You can click migrate, change compute resource. You can select ES6i3. If there is an error, you will see the error message here, but we don't have any error. I can move it easily, and I can move it now. Now you can see here the VM is powered on, and now from the recent task you can check the VM is moved now to ES6i3. And when you log into the VM again, you can see the same file or the same program is running. Okay, now let's say this is your environment. 1, 2, 3, vMotion is enabled, shared storage is configured. Now I want to configure high availability. What is high availability? High availability means that if one host goes down, let's say Windows 10 VM is running here on ES6i3, Tiny Linux VM is running on ES6i2, Tiny Linux 2 VM is running on ES6i1. This is my environment. Let's say we have two VMs running on each host. And suppose if one host is down, if one hardware is down, then how these virtual machines will be available on the remaining host. So for that, you need to have high availability feature. But if you see here, we don't see any settings for the high availability here. So first of all, you will right click on your data center. You will create a cluster. You will give it a name. Let's say KBIT Do you want to enable HA? No. Do you want to enable DRS? Nope. I don't want to manage all the hosts in the single manage. So do not enable any feature, right? This is a good practice. And just click next and then click finish. So now we have KBIT cluster and move all the hosts to the cluster. Now just drag and drop like this. Okay, I think it does not allow me. Usually it is, sometimes it's work, but I think I need to power off or put the host in the maintenance mode. Uh, let's keep it this way. Let's keep it, it's like a jugaad now, but just to demonstrate you. So I will power up all the VMs. Do not do this practice on the production environment. Maybe because of your this act, maybe they give you a chance to spend the rest of your time with your family. Okay, so I put all the host in the maintenance mode. Now I move, let's wait for it. I think there is some configuration. Okay. Sajid Shamir, I will answer your question. Just give me some time, but I don't know why I'm not able to add host to the cluster. Maybe I need to follow these configuration. Okay. This is the cluster, right? I want to add all the hosts to the cluster. I can use this quick button. All right. Actually, we destroyed something, so maybe that's the reason. Okay, I have very dangerous question coming up. Okay, guys, so let's forget about this. But let's say if you have a cluster, right? When you create a cluster and move all the hosts to the cluster, you can right click and then go to add settings. And from here, you can enable DRS feature. Uh, Let me answer the first question of Mr. Sajid Shamir. Do HAR DRS is required for vMotion? No. Basically, HA and DRS needs vMotion basically. So DRS actually utilize vMotion. So vMotion is the requirement for DRS, right? What is DRS, guys? It's basically a distributed resource scheduler. It's one of the feature you can enable on the cluster. Another question of Mr. Sajid Shamir is if there are three servers and all of them have different RAM, for example, what host will be considered the baseline for the HA cluster? I mean, one server has 256. So basically, when you want to configure HA, right? And when you enable HA, this is the option. This is the answer of your question, Mr. Sajid. You can go to admission control, and from here you can specify your settings, right? These are the options for you. Um, yep, DRS is depend on hardware compatibility. You are right, Mr. Wakas. Atikur Rahman, what is the master slave concept in high availability? So I can answer your question, but I will uh, suggest you to, when you open the module one and when you scroll down here on the right side, there will be an option called this one, And when you open this 121 page, right, when you move forward, this is the concept that what is the master or primary and secondary host. So if you want to learn, okay, for all of you, if you want to learn high availability, on the right side, just write 121, go to this page, and you will learn about vSphere HA, right? You can read all the things that what is the role of the primary host, then what is the role of the secondary host, then you will see here, and then it will also show you what is the election process, and you can watch this video as well. These are available, right? So you can find all your answers here. These are the options here. Even they will guide you how you can do the practice. Click region, click action, and all these things, right? My advice to you guys, do not delete the existing cluster. Just remove the host from the cluster, and when you want to move it back, you can move the host to that cluster because it seems like there are some limitation in the lab. So you can utilize the VMware HOL for the VMware vSphere training, and I would say 90% of your lab task can be done on these VMware HOL lab, right? This virtualization 101 lab is a good starting point for you people. I wish I could explain more, but I need to drop off. I can give you some time for question and answers. Um, if you want to connect with me, you can scan this. Let me see if this link is working or not. If it is not working, then I might need to provide some additional details, but looks like the link is working. So I will just copy this and I will just paste it here, right? And I hope you learned something new today. Let me stop